Well, hello, all. Greetings. Bill Shaka here. Welcome to another edition of the 5-Minute Motivator. Welcome to beautiful Tamarindo, Costa Rica. And if you remembered yesterday's 5-Minute Motivator, I did my best to unpack the relationship between confidence and courage. What I would like to do today is give you an example of how that works. Now, this example is primarily from a sales perspective, but I think we can apply this to many other areas of our life. So, with that, let me set this up. Years and years ago, when I first got into the training business, I was captive to the northeastern Pennsylvania region, which meant I really didn't get on a plane. I did all of my training locally. Now, my training at the time of inception of my company was not one-day classes or two-day classes. What I did is I broke up material over a course of weeks. So a supervisory course would be perhaps 2 hours a week for 10 weeks. Okay, and by doing that, then it allowed me the ability to have individuals learn during the week, report out on it, set 7-day business and personal goals. It was a pretty nice concept. It was kind of hard to administer, but it was a pretty decent concept. Obviously, you couldn't do that if you had to get on a plane on a consistent basis, but it was local. So what I would do is once an individual said, yes, I want to put several of my supervisors through one of your public classes, I would meet with the supervisor and the participants before the session start, then at the midpoint, and then at the end of the process. Now, between me, you, and a mug of beer, the midpoint and the ending process were not just report outs, they were also sales calls to see who else they may have had for additional public classes if they wanted to do an in-house class, and not necessarily just on supervision. It could have been on management, on sales, or any other topics. I was dealing with one company who consistently would not allow me to train their supervisors. The general manager of this company, and it was a pretty large company too, they had about 15 managers altogether, but I would go to see him every time I ran a public class in that particular area, and he always said no. After about 2 years, I said, Dave, what's going on? Tell me why you don't want to put anybody through any of the public classes. And he said, you've been pretty persistent coming here. Let me tell you why. My supervisors are stupid. I pay them very well, and I basically pay them so I can abuse them. They don't have a lot of intelligence. They don't have a lot of enthusiasm. I tell them what to do every single day, and then they march out and they do it. I can't train these people. These people are untrainable. I said, Dave, I appreciate your candor and your honesty, but I didn't stop calling on him. Every quarter, whenever I ran a class in that area, I went back out to see him. One November, I went out to see him and said, hey, Dave, how you doing? We sat and we talked for a few minutes. Always a pleasant conversation. And I said, so tell me, do you want to put anybody through my next supervisory class? He said, yes, I've got 4 people for you. I said, why this sudden change? He said, I've got some money that I need to spend by the end of the year. You've been very persistent. I want to give the money to you. I said, well, thank you. I want to take it. So it turned out to be a pretty good deal. I met with him and his participants at the beginning of the process. Halfway through, I went back to see Dave. I gave him all the paperwork, and I said, what changes have you seen in your people? He said, none. My people are stupid. There's not going to be any change. I gave you this money because I had it to spend and because you deserved it. At the end of the process, I went back and said, Dave, I'm seeing some changes, at least what your people are telling me. Are you seeing any changes? He said, absolutely not. There are no changes in these people whatsoever. So here I am at the end of the process. I have no reason to go back and see Dave for any particular reason. So at that point, I asked him. I said, well, Dave, I'm sorry to hear about the fact that you didn't see any results in your people. But tell me, do you have anybody for my next class? And he said, yeah, I've got 3 more people. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Confidence and courage. How many of us would have said at the end of the first round of training, well, I guess this isn't going to work out for him? That's what I was expecting. But you know what I also thought? I had nothing to lose by asking. As a matter of fact, I had a couple $1,000s to gain. So I found that it was very worthwhile. I'm hoping that you see that story of confidence and courage and how they couple together can work to not just increase your career in sales, but also in all areas of our life. Confidence and courage. I hope you found this useful. This is Bill Shaka thanking you for attending yet another edition of the 5 Minute Motivator, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye now.